I suppose I'm like anybody else in life. My character is a mixture of things, but I have to admit that I do have some obsessive parts of my character, and one thing I am obsessed about is my driveway. I just love to maintain it and keep it in really good order, and it's just one of my things. I think my neighbours probably think I'm a little bit bonkers because this time of year, this lovely magnolia tree, it's October, autumn, so it's shedding leaves like mad, and I will blow the leaves off this drive probably twice a day. Now, to me, it makes perfect logical sense because this driveway went down 4 years ago, and to my mind it's in the same condition as it went down 4 years ago. And the reason for that is because I maintain it. It's because I'm obsessed about it. And yeah, basically the reason why I blow the leaves off is to make sure that they don't get driven over and end up all filtering through the stones, and providing a medium for weeds to grow in and everything. And yeah, I maintain it by weed killing it, which I'll get into shortly. Yeah, so this is my thing. I love to keep the driveway in really good condition. So the construction of this driveway is a really important part of what it is, and it's been really well put down. And here you can see the threshold is made from 6 courses of granite sets put in really deep, and that makes a really good entrance that contains the stone. And then as you look around the edgings, this whole driveway is edged with granite sets, and these planters at the front are edged with blue bricks. Here's some more masonry that edges the stone here at the porch. More blue bricks, and then round this little part, edged again with quarries. Just to take a closer look at this gravel. This gravel is 3/4 gravel or 20mm gravel. It's very angular, and it's because of its angular shape, it interlocks, and it's extremely good for driveways where cars have to run over, because as the pressure from the tyres go over this sort of interlocking shape, it presses down and it doesn't spread and push the gravel around too much. There's all kinds of names for this gravel. This is Flint Gravel, as you can probably see. Here we are. You can clearly see that's flint, and it's mainly angular with a few, round in it, but yes, it's this angular element of it which is really good, and it keeps everything in one place. I do have to rake it, or in fact I use a wide brush actually to push everything back into shape every now and again. You get these very interesting pieces in it, by the way, and you'll get the odd dinosaur tooth, so I'm told. But so yeah, this is the topping, the gravel, and very suitable for driveways. And so yeah, importantly, the way that this gravel driveway was constructed, this has been put down onto, it's a very clay soil, so very tacky, and just to make it into an initial car park when we were doing the house up, we put down some 40mm clean hardcore, which is a sort of a Cotswold stone crushed up, but it's clean without dust in, and that made a really good base layer. And on top of that, we put 4 inches or 100mm of type 1, some people call it MOT hardcore, and that hardcore has got sort of bigger lumps in, smaller lumps, and then mixed with dust, and when that's rolled that makes a very good compressed layer. Some people call it crusher run, I believe. And then there's this topping, which is about an inch. You really don't want too much of this, otherwise it becomes like a beach. The gravel driveway is not to everyone's taste, and that's fair enough. Yeah, no problem there. Some people would say yes, there's a lot of maintenance, and who would want leaves blowing all over it and weeds growing through it? Sure, but I personally like the look of a gravel driveway. I like the feel of it and the noise of the cars rolling on it. Yeah, but if you do have a gravel driveway, it certainly needs maintenance. Otherwise you'll end up, sure, with weeds growing through, and after a year or so it starts to look terrible. But as you can see with this driveway, it looks really good as the day it was put down. So yeah, all the maintenance is really worth it. In my eyes it is anyway. Just a word about the edgings, which are made out of Granite Sets and these blue bricks. Here's some to show you the porch area. But these Granite Sets that act as an edging, these are put in, and it really pays to put these in quite deep. These are probably dug out to about a foot before they went in, which is 300 mil. And to make a little mini trench, if you like. And then these Granite Sets were bedded in a sharp sand mix of mortar, very sharp sand, and bedded in so that there is an extremely deep bedding that these go on. And the reason for that is that cars are really heavy things, and you don't want a car rolling up to the edges here and pushing them out. And so yeah, 4 years later we've had, especially in this little area where a single car can go in and park, the wheels roll up to that back edge quite often. But as you can see, it's absolutely in one piece, so it really pays dividends to edge your driveway really well. So that's how we've done ours, and yeah, it looks very pleasing. It contains the gravel really well, and yeah, it's got a great look to it. Not everybody would want that, you know, has the same taste as us. Everybody does their own thing. Absolutely fine, fair enough. But yeah, edgings are an important part of any driveway, of course. So first of all, let's get into the few bits and pieces that I use to maintain this gravel driveway. Absolutely essentially, from my point of view, is this leaf blower, which I really love. This leaf blower, let me turn it around so we can see it. It's a Makita battery blower. It's got a 9 amp hour battery, which is pretty good, so it lasts quite a long time. Little demonstration here as to how effective it is. Next is the weed killing. I'm not very comfortable weed killing things. I wouldn't want any weed killer to get into the watercourse or anything like that. We're on clay, and as I've said earlier, the driveway is sort of built, it's about 8 inches thick onto clay. So this surface weed killing that I do, it's just about acceptable to me to keep the driveway looking good. I use one of these hose lock sprayers, really good. And obviously you'll have seen these, no doubt. And you pump thus, and obviously the sprayer is like so. I use this weed killer from Tesco. It's as good as any, and the point is that you can pull weeds up from your driveway, but the only problem is with that, depends how deep your substrate is, your hardcore layer. But for a lot of people, if it's not very deep, you end up pulling soil up through the gravel. So it's probably a better idea to kill the weeds with a weed killer that is going to kill the root off altogether. And if you do this at the beginning of the year and then maintain it whenever anything comes up fairly small, you don't have to pump masses of this stuff onto the surface. You can just spot weed kill, and that way there's very little weed killer really goes on. The way that I carry out my weed killing is that I sort of walk up and down in strips, up and down, just to try and find weeds. As I say, God knows what my neighbours must think of me, but you know, it's a fairly large area, so I have to sort of patrol it up and down, sort of 6-8 feet at a time, and then I'll come across little weeds, only little ones, because I basically make sure that I do this job, should we say, every month or something like that, and then I'll get hold of the wand end like this and just a light application of weed killer. I mean, goodness me, you don't need me how to tell you how to kill weeds, but anyway, that's what I do, and that's how I do it. And yeah, we then end up with this completely weed free driveway all year round. I say weed free, little ones pop up from time to time, and that's how I deal with them. And yeah, we end up with this result. So another way that I maintain this gravel drive is by making sure that it's always raked out or brushed out flat whenever needed. I don't do it all the time, but let's say once every 2 weeks. I use this brush, which is what, 18 inches wide, 450mm wide, and if I just show you that literally a couple of passes over the gravel, and it flattens it all out with literally hardly any effort at all. So occasionally you'll have, this is where people have got out of the cars, and heel marks have gone in there. I mean, you know, does everybody do this to their driveway? No, of course not. I mean, I do, because I'm obsessed about it. But here's somewhere where the cars have pushed a little bit of gravel, and yeah, quite literally you just push it with this, and who can argue with that? And I always make sure that this threshold is always swept back, because I just think it looks so neat. So often you'll see a gravel driveway and bits of stone have gone out, all out onto the road and everything. That's really my pet hate. I just love things to be neat and tidy, as you know, if you've ever looked at my hedging videos and the clipping of these cones and that. Yeah, I just like things to be really neat and tidy, and so it probably takes a bit of an obsessive type of character to do that, but I don't mind. That's absolutely fine by me. Yeah, I like my obsessions. They're positive, they achieve results, and they keep me busy, and that's what I like. So a nice autumn morning, and it's time to blow some leaves off the drive, which is this daily job I do this time of year. Doesn't take very long. And I find this job very satisfying, actually. I like to get all the little leaves off so they don't get driven into the gravel. Doesn't take long. A couple of times a day, literally 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. and yeah, keeps the driveway in tip-top condition. I get on really well with my neighbours, so I'll blow the leaves out onto the road, and then I'll sweep them up every now and again so that they don't have to deal with too many of my leaves off this tree. And there you go. That's pretty much the job done. So yeah, that's how I keep my driveway maintained, and I love doing it.